Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Anthony Kraus, and on behalf of OTC Markets, as well as our co-host, Zacks Small Cap Research, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Evaxion Biotech. Their session will be moderated by Brad Sorensen, Senior Equity Research Analyst with Zacks Small Cap Research. Please note, you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I am very pleased to welcome Christian Kanstrup, Chief Executive Officer of Evaxion Biotech, which trades on Nasdaq under the symbol EVAX. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you so much.
Great to be here. Thanks for joining us. And just full disclosure, I cover Evaxion, and I'm really excited about the story they tell. Hopefully you guys have read some of the research that I put out because it's a really exciting story. And yeah, one aspect is that I get tired of hearing all of the large model AI stuff, and Evaxion actually uses AI in a productive way. So it's exciting to hear that. I'm going to turn it over to Christian and let him kind of give an overview of Evaxion, and then we'll go through some questions and answers. And if you have questions, just put them in there, and there's a place where you can put them in the chat room, and I'll get to them towards the end of it. But I'm going to let Christian go ahead and kind of give you an overview of Evaxion right now.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brad, and pleasure to be here and pleasure to be able to give you a presentation on Evaxion. I'm Christian Kanstrup. I'm the CEO of Evaxion, and who are we? I mean, in essence, we are a pioneer in fast and effective AI-powered development of new medicines. If you look at us, we have developed a multidisciplinary capability set. We have state-of-the-art wet lab and animal facilities. We have a broad pipeline. We have a preclinical pipeline and a clinical pipeline across cancer and infectious diseases. We have a business model, which we call our three-pronged business model. And then we have a multi-partner approach to value realization with several partnerships in place. And the core of the company, that's our AI platform. We call it AI Immunology, which is a clinically validated and leading AI platform for fast and effective discovery and development of new vaccines. One thing you should know about Evaxion, which is quite interesting, especially in these days with a lot of talk about AI, is we were actually founded as an AI-first company. And we were founded back in 2008, i.e. long before there was even talk about AI in the broader population. So we were founded with the objective of using computational methods to decode the human immune system to address unmet serious medical needs. That has taken us to today, where we have been spending the past 15 years in developing and maturing our AI platform to the stage we are now, where we are a clinical stage tech bio. We have a validated, we have a leading AI platform, AI Immunology, for fast and effective vaccine target discovery, design, and development. And currently, it's trained within cancer and infectious diseases. And our purpose is quite simple. It is saving and improving lives with AI Immunology. What's also important to know is, of course, we are targeting significant unmet needs and large markets, being in cancer and infectious diseases. Today, we have 10 million annual deaths a year due to cancer. We have 8 million annual deaths a year due to infectious diseases. And it's very clear we need more effective treatments for the many cancer patients, despite all the advancements we have seen over the past years. We also have many infectious diseases where we have no approved vaccines today. I can mention Staph aureus, gonorrhea, or CMV. And that's especially a problem because antibiotic resistance is continuing to increase. In terms of the markets, if we look at the immunotherapy market within cancer, where we are as well, it's going to be an almost 300 billion market by 2030. The metastatic melanoma market, where our lead candidate, Evaxion, the personalized cancer vaccine, is in phase 2, that's going to be a $7.5 billion market by 2030. The infectious disease market alone, it's around 70 billion by the end of this decade. So look at us as an AI platform for fast and effective discovery and development of new vaccines within cancer and infectious diseases, targeting significant markets. Our strategy, it's a three-pronged business model we use to execute our strategy. The core is our AI immunology platform. Then we have three prongs. One is called targets. It's around a multi-partner approach focusing on either single or multiple vaccine target discovery, design, and development agreements. We have a collaboration with Merck or MSD, as it's called in our part of the world, where we in 2023 entered into a discovery and development collaboration for a infectious disease with a significant unmet need. We have the pipeline where we are focusing on bringing forward our own select high-value programs into major value inflection points. And here we actually just during the weekend presented a 1-year clinical phase 2 data on our lead asset, the personalized AI-designed vaccine Evaxion in metastatic melanoma. Finally, the third prong we have is what we call responders, which is about harnessing our data and predictive capability to develop responder models. It's slightly different than both targets and pipelines because this is not as such about a therapeutic product, but this is about utilizing the core capabilities we have in terms of being able to develop responder models. The first model we have developed here is a checkpoint inhibitor responder model, where we with a high degree of accuracy can predict who are the patients who won't respond to a checkpoint inhibitor. And being able upfront to identify that a given cancer patient won't respond to a therapy is of course of huge value, not only for the patient, getting the patient onto an effective therapy quicker, but also for society because you save costs in ensuring better clinical outcomes. So to leave some time for Q&A, Brad, then I'm just going to summarize the highlights of Evaxion. AI immunology, that's a core platform. Our validated AI platform for vaccine discovery, design, and development. It has a very unique modular architecture with a number of building blocks which allows for a high degree of scalability. We have a clinical and preclinical pipeline which offers several value triggers. I already mentioned Evaxion in phase 2, where we just had the first 1-year readout. We have several pipeline assets ready for partnering. And I think it's also fair to say that the potential in our platform, that's clearly validated by recent partnerships, including the one with Merck or MSD I talked about, which we are into last year. And not only do we have MSD or Merck as a collaborator within AI immunology target discovery and validation, we also have them as a shareholder. They are our single biggest shareholder with around 15% of the company. And then we have a number of milestones for this year where we already have delivered successfully on a number of these, both across the clinical and preclinical assets, which we see set to drive value. Final thing worth mentioning is also that we have been changing focus from developing and maturing our pipeline towards also monetizing on the assets that we have at hand. That's a process we started early on this year, where we, based upon the significant and highly exciting pipeline we have developed, now have shifted focus outwards and are currently engaged in a number of potential partnerships discussions aiming at monetizing on the assets that we have at hand. And we actually have the ambition of this year generating business development income or cash in equal to our cash burn. So a exciting point in time in the Evaxion journey. We have been having a significant head start compared to many of the other AI companies in the sense that we started earlier, and now we are at the point where we are about to monetize on our assets. And Brad, over to you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, the great overview. A lot to dig in there. I think I want to start at the higher level, and actually we can do that by, I want to have you kind of explain the AI and what that has to do with the business, the way it develops, the way it helps the efficiency of the company and the development of these treatments. But also, there's some great news this morning that was just released that you can talk about during that response, and
Yeah.
that one of your platforms has another update. So I want to just kind of start there because that, I think, is at the core of what you guys do.
Yeah, no, happy to, Brad. And as you say, it is the core of what we do, right? That's what the company was founded based upon. We were founded, as I said, as an AI first company, and then we have been building all the other capabilities around the platform. And you can say we have two parts of the business. One is the cancer, and the other is the infectious disease side of things. In essence, this is about being fast and being effective in terms of developing novel vaccines. For instance, if we look at the infectious disease side of business, reverse vaccinology, it takes 3 years to identify a vaccine target. And then actually many of those targets identified with reverse vaccinology, they turn out not to be effective targets. With our AI immunology platform and the 2 modules we have for infectious diseases, we can actually design and discover a target in just 24 hours, i.e. significantly faster than what you do with conventional methods. What's also important is we can also discover targets which you can't find with conventional methods. We have shown how we can outcompete reverse vaccinology. And this is only possible because of the how high amount of data that we have been collecting, the training of our AI model, that we have been enabling a high degree of predictability and ability to predict and select the right targets. When the cancer side of the business, then we're talking about personalized cancer vaccines. And here, of course, if you have to design a cancer vaccine for the individual patient, then speed is of essence. When you get cancer, you want to have a therapy as quickly as possible. And if you have to spend a lot of time in designing a therapeutic with conventional methods, then that's not going to enable an effective therapy for cancer patients. With our Pioneer model, which is the prediction model we're using for cancer, we also here in 24 hours can identify the exact right targets that needs to go into a personalized cancer vaccine. So in essence, it enables speed, it enables high degree of accuracy, and it enables predicting and selecting the right targets. And that links back to the news that we had out today, which is around the platform, which is called, or the model, which is called Eden, which is the model we use for bacterial infectious diseases. Here we just today at a conference in Finland launched an upgraded version of this Eden model, aiming at one thing, being able to predict the right targets even better, but also being able to predict toxins. Toxins are a very important target for infectious diseases or bacterial infectious diseases, and now we have expanded the model to also cover this target. And that's what we have been doing during the past 15 years. We have constantly been developing and maturing the models, and actually also spending a lot of time on validating the model, both from a clinical point of view, but also from a preclinical point of view. So it is about doing these constant learning loops where you feed the model with new data, with proprietary data, with public data, with the objective of increasing the predictive capabilities of the model.
Yeah, and that's, I think I want to go back to something you said at the beginning and just point that out, that this company isn't just from the last year or two when the AI has really gotten a lot of press. This was 14 years ago, and these models have been developed. And like Christian said, they learn. We all know that AI models, one of their features is that they learn from going through these things. So they've had 14 years of experience and data and everything else. So I do want to, there's two questions on this, and then we'll get to more specific treatments. But one is, so with partnerships, is that since you have a lot of data already in there, are other companies looking to use your AI models? Are they looking to use your data? Are you looking to combine data? Are they looking to run their data through your model? Is there, or how is that, or is it all of the above?
I would say that the main interest we're seeing, and that's also where we're focusing, is twofold. It's either on new target discovery collaborations, just as the one that we have with Merck, where we are using our platform to discover and design new vaccine candidates. Again, back to your point from just before, that we have been training and working with the model for many years. And also on top of that, as I also said in the beginning, we do have our own lab, we do have our own animal facility. That also means that we have a very efficient process for generating our own proprietary data. Whenever the AI team makes some predictions for a novel vaccine candidate, we can go straight into the lab, design the vaccine, we can go straight into the animal facility and test it out. And that has meant that we have this process where we're able to, on a continuous basis, to feed our models with new proprietary data. And that is also what attracts potential partners, that we can be a one-stop shop from the early discussions around a given infectious or bacterial or viral infectious disease to discovering a possible target against that and doing all the early development. So that we're seeing interest from partners in target discovery collaborations. Then I think it's also fair, Brad, to say that we are seeing a lot of interest from potential partners in our existing pipeline assets, which are all AI-derived vaccine candidates, as I said, clinical stage cancer pipeline, and a super exciting preclinical stage infectious disease pipeline. So it's fairly broad-based, the interest. But, I mean, we are not, as such, looking to partner around the data itself. I mean, we have, of course, number of collaborations around data, but it is around the vaccine candidates and all the discovery of novel vaccine candidates that we're focusing from a partnership point of view.
Okay, great. And then last question on the broader AI models. Have you had, or has your company had, or do you know of discussions with the FDA that would, because of the capabilities of AI, maybe shorten the approval process, or require less human trials or something like that? Anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have had multiple discussions with regulatory authorities in different parts of the world. Also, of course, given the fact that we are running EVX-01, that's being run in both Europe and Australia, just as we have a fast-track designation from the FDA. So, as such, I don't see it necessarily shortens the development of, say, a phase 3 trial, but it's there's a lot of interest also from regulatory authorities in how to encompass AI within the current regulatory framework. And I think the general view is also that this is going to be the future, so we need to make sure that we account for that also from a regulatory point of view. But I think that the fact that we have the FDA fast-track designation for EVX-01, that also shows that, there's not a concern from, for instance, FDA as to this AI-derived vaccine candidate.
Yeah, the FDA is sometimes slow to come around to these things, but I'm glad you're kind of in the cutting edge of letting them know what's going on. Yeah, and any investor that's listening that is involved with this knows that's an understatement. Yeah, so you've mentioned it a couple times, so I kind of don't want to. I've kind of buried the lead here, but there's really exciting news that from testing, getting more granular and specific treatments that you've had. So, do you want to detail the announcement from earlier this week, late last week, on EVX-01 and tell investors what that means?
Yeah, no, be happy to. And just to recap, Evaxion 1, that's our lead candidate. It's a personalized neoantigen vaccine, which is in phase 2 development for metastatic melanoma. And you should see metastatic melanoma as the first indication. The concept of a neoantigen-based cancer vaccine would be applicable in many solid tumors. And here we have conducted a phase 1/2 trial, which we reported out last year, which actually showed very strong data. We had a 67% overall response rate in that phase 1/2 trial, and we had a strong immune response across the different patients. And of course, with so strong phase 1/2 data, you're always a little bit concerned going into you are in a phase 2 trial and having the first clinical readout, which we presented at a conference in Barcelona this Saturday. But we actually saw a 69% overall response rate in this phase 2 trial at the 1-year readout, i.e. even better than what we saw in the phase 1/2 trial. So very encouraging data. And what we also did see is that we saw in 15 out of the 16 patients, we actually saw a reduction in tumor size. So I would say very strong data, which confirms that the concept of a personalized vaccine designed for the individual patient based upon new antigens holds up. Of course, you can say still a smaller population with 16 patients. For regulatory purposes, you will need a much larger randomized control trial, but this is very strong data indicating a high commercial potential of EVX-01 in metastatic melanoma.
Yeah, it was great news, and yeah, people suffering from cancer are desperate for that great news. So always good to see. Let's see, where do we want to go next? Well, I guess you've had some good news recently with the EVX-B2 mRNA vaccine. Do you want to kind of outline that and I believe there's a partnership with that?
Yeah, no, I'll be happy to. That's the news we had out mid last week. EVX-B2, that's our preclinical vaccine candidate against gonorrhea. And let's just remind ourselves here that there are no approved vaccines against gonorrhea today, and it is a growing health problem across all parts of the world. We, in late 2023, entered into a collaboration with South African company Evaxion Biotech to take our peptide-based EVX-B2 vaccine and test it out in an mRNA construct. What we presented last week was a preclinical proof of concept for the vaccine candidate in an mRNA construct. And you say, why is this important? This is important because it shows that our platform, the targets or the vaccine components that predicts is working independently of the delivery modality you have. We already showed the proof of concept or preclinical proof of concept for EVX-B2 in a peptide-based vaccine, and now together with Evaxion, we showed the preclinical proof of concept in an mRNA-based construct. And that confirms that our platform is delivery modality agnostic, i.e. it doesn't matter which delivery modality a potential partner prefers. The targets that we are predicting and selecting based upon the model can be applied in any delivery modality. And that's, of course, important when you look at different preferences there are among potential different partners. Some prefer mRNA, some prefer DNA, again, others prefer peptide-based. So strong confirmation of the scalability of our AI immunology platform. So very exciting data to get out as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we're almost out of time. I don't want to bury this because this is a rarity. I cover biotechs, and you might not have heard, but Evaxion's goal. So why don't you talk a little bit about the financials? Because everybody's interested in cash burn and those kind of things at a company your stage. But I thought I heard you say that you're trying to be cash neutral here this year. And so if I heard that right, confirm that and talk about cash on hand and how you're generating more cash.
That's correct, Brett. I mean, our ambition for 2024 is to generate business development income or getting cash in equal to our annual cash burn. And this would also be a major milestone for the company, given that we, for the past many years, have been of course, a cash burning company. But given the strategic pivot we made towards the end of last year and have been focusing on accelerating and executing upon this year, where we are saying, okay, let's monetize on some of the exciting assets we have at hand, let's partner these. With that come the ambition of being cash neutral. And we have an annual cash burn of around $14 million US. And that's what we have the ambition of generating in income. You can say, of course, business development is always uncertain. Do the deal materialize or not? So it is an ambition, but I say with a strong interest we're seeing from pharma and other potential partners in our platform and in our pipeline, we see it's a stretch, but still realistic ambition. So that's what we're looking to achieve. And going from being cash consuming to cash neutral would, of course, be a significant milestone for a company like us. So we are executing very hard on our different business development activities in terms of bringing in partners who can take on the assets and bring those forward, while we, of course, have a unique ability to bring new assets into the pipeline with the AI immunology platform, where we quickly can discover novel vaccines and bring into preclinical development.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said at the beginning, that's just great to see a company that's using AI for beneficial things. And it's really transforming the way that you develop. And I think this is going to be the wave of the future, and Evaxion is at the cutting edge of this. We are almost out of time. Are there any last words you want to say to investors? Leave them with some message about the company?
Well, I would say that, I mean, we are a pioneering tech bio with a truly novel personalized cancer vaccine in phase 2. We have the validation of our platform and what we do by having MSD in as both a R&D partner, but also as our single largest shareholder. And then on top of that, we are at what we call a financial pivot in the Evaxion journey, in the sense that it's now we have shifted focus towards monetizing and partnering the assets that we have been developing during the past many years. And the fact that we are founded as an AI first has clearly given us a significant head start compared to many of the newer AI companies out there today. So all in all, we are in a super exciting point in the Evaxion journey. Of course, there's always risk and uncertainties, but with the broad pipeline we have developed with the capability base, I think we are set to execute well on our strategy, which is also evidenced by the number of milestones for this year, which we already have achieved.
I agree with that. Thank you. That's a great summary. And so we have to wrap it up. I will just echo that This company has a huge pipeline and they're at an inflection point. So I encourage investors to look into it. They have more treatments that we just didn't have time to go through that are very exciting and promising. And there's news coming out every day. So it's a good company to follow. And I encourage you, if you want to know more about the company and want to get some time have other questions, there's going to be a way after the call that you can set up meetings with company management. So having said that, I